this video is to provide a little bit of advice on buying stock with the current market. The long-term history of the stock market has been erratic, with highs and lows happening in many different places. Its recent history, however, has shown some pretty strong cyclical activity. One of those being summer drops. It isn't always the case, even in recent history, but it has been pronounced in July, even as early as June, but typically the market drops during summer in June, July, and August. So, regardless of what sectors you're trading or investing in, now would be a very good time to buy your stocks. The idea, obviously, buy low, sell high. Holding on to things that have good returns in terms of dividends can also be good, as long as you're not overextended in terms of tax liabilities, and then depending on your tax rates, how much you make, how much you're paying, etc. Those particulars sometimes offset your income if they're losses. There are a lot of variables involved here, but in terms of general recommendations, now is a good time to buy your stock. The market, the way we see it, and without sounding immodest, we've been incredibly accurate. The market is going to be low right now. It may go down considerably further. That's very possible, in fact, probable. We expect it to bottom out sometime in either July or August. But again, now is a very good time to buy stocks, and through maybe mid to the end of August 2012. Once it starts going up again, they won't reach these low levels ever again. As everyone knows, when there's a Democrat in the White House, at least over the last 4 decades, the Dow, the S&Ps have all reacted considerably better, with much, much stronger performance. The general return with Republicans in our White House is an abysmal 0.4% return on your investment. And with inflation being 4% or higher, they're 10 times below the curve to break even. So with Republicans, you'll always lose. With Democrats, the percentage of return is a positive 8.9%. So you're nearing the 10% mark. So if you invest $1 million each year, your 10% return without tax considerations is going to be $100,000 of forward positive results. Those are just simple facts. They're obtainable through the Wall Street Journal. You can do the math yourself. Go president by president, as we did, through the actual indexes and their notations, their volume, etc. You'll see the market always does better with Democrats, always. Reagan raised our debt limit 18 times in the 8 years he was in office, more than twice a year. He was spend, even though he had no concept of how fiscal policy works or the least understanding of economics, considering we're still paying interest on that. And Bush, the unelected war criminal and buffoon, he increased our national debt. Reagan had quadrupled it from $700 million to just over $3 trillion. Again, written letters from Reagan also corroborate the fact that he had actually strong-armed our Congress into raising the debt limit several times. So again, you can see here, right on the chart, Bush came in, unelected war criminal Bush, who was appointed by the five Republican justices on SCOTUS, put him in at the beginning here after President Clinton took the Dow from 3,000 points up to 10,570. You can see Bush's run here right when he got in. It collapsed. Although he did avoid and ignore the August 6 PDB, Presidential Daily Briefing, warning of attacks by Al-Qaeda by aircraft, he ignored those and remained on his month-long vacation. But since it may have been unavoidable, we don't think it entirely was the case, but we won't even give that first huge spike down to Bush. The very first one is his. He owns that. Nothing had occurred yet and bottomed out big time. Then it rose slightly, then 9/11 occurred, and we had a disastrous plummet. Then it climbed a little bit, then plummeted again, and again, and again. And then it had a gradual rise, then some ups and downs, which are very normal. Then it had a really good artificially inflated rise here, mostly due to bad information provided by the criminal Bush administration. But you see the rise, the inflated rise, and then you see Bush right where he left office. You can see where it started its plummet. Then when Obama came in, it sheared off entirely and dropped way down, spiking terribly to the downside. Then Obama put into effect his stimulus, and we've seen nothing but upside. The Dow reaching up into the 13,000 level, which we hadn't really seen for a sustained time ever. And you see it pretty close to that now. 12,000's pretty strong, considering Bush had dropped it, plummeted it to 79.49, from 10,570 to the abysmal 79.49. Unbelievable loss of value for all Americans, all corporations, all the investments, all the IRAs, everything that our elderly Americans live on their fixed incomes, needing that interest, needing that accruing principle, that strength that supports their lives. That all wiped out nearly entirely, and in some cases entirely. But then you see the very gradual, successful climb of Obama. But we've had some very strong summer dips, even within Obama. He's avoided one July, only to have the summer be a very powerful force on the negative side again. But again, buy your stocks now in between mid to late August, and you should do pretty well, especially after President Obama's re-election. The market will continue its strength, probably reaching into the area of 17 to 18,000, which is what we predicted would happen before unelected war criminal Bush was booted from our White House. So look for an increasingly strong market as long as a Democrat is in our White House, and Obama's a very good one at that. And look for very, very strong collapses if a Republican should get their greasy mitts on our steering wheel again.